Hello everyone and welcome to Intro to Blogging Summer 2018 in the Journalism and Digital Communication program here at beautiful USF St. Petersburg. And it's a pleasure and honor to have you with us here for this 6-week summer class. I'm Casey Frechette, your instructor of record, and I am joined today, as I will be for each of our sessions here together, by Professor Chris Campbell. Professor Campbell, thank you for being there.
You didn't do the thing.
Ah, yes. Now, this is a blogging class.
Yes.
Although I imagine that at least some of our students taking the class are interested in other forms of digital expression, including video production.
Possibly, yes.
Possibly
yes,
so.
Possibly.
We may have some inside information leading us to that, but be that as it may, if you're blogging, one of the things we're going to be talking about throughout the semester here is how it is about writing.
I've got to get my millions of headphones organized and mice and everything like that.
So you've gone from 3 to millions. That was a...
No, one mice, yeah, let's see here. Okay.
You're making adjustments, I see.
Yes, yes, yes.
Well,
there's a lot of... It's a little nerve-wracking.
It is nerve-wracking, yes. We have discussed the crushing expectations that are upon us here.
Crushing.
Hopefully we don't disappoint too terribly.
It is crushingly paralyzing.
Yes, paralyzing. Now, I have this piece of equipment with me here. You have asked me to hold this up. Now, would you like the reflective side or the tritone side?
The
tritone side. And should I hold it here or should I hold it here?
Well,
or should I hold it like this?
No, you want to hold it right in front of your face.
And myself in front of my face, like this.
So that it records, so that you're getting for the lighting, whatever the lighting falls on.
Oh, this is about the lighting.
Yes, it's about the lighting. About the luminosity, the exposure. The exposure.
So why are we doing this? What purpose could this serve?
Well, so you have a midpoint luminosity, white point luminosity, and a black point luminosity to make sure the exposure is correct, which of course is separate
the amount
from
of light that is
the brightness values, the luminosity values, minus the color, no color.
Now, but are we not also using this to make some color adjustments if necessary?
No.
No, we are not.
No, that's only for the luminosity or brightness or exposure. The color is the other thing that you have.
Where is that? Oh, yes. I do have something else.
In addition to the clap, in addition to the audio.
All right. Shall we do this?
Sure. Yes. Let me take my headphones off because it may hurt. Loud.
Those watching at home, you may want to
you need
lower your volume.
Yes. Right. So we don't blow anyone out.
So this is week 15, a Journey's End in Food Podcasts.
Food Podcasts? Wait, is that not the right one?
Well, apparently it is.
Who is that? Is that for Janet? Is that for Janet's class?
I believe it is, yes. Professor Keeler.
Oh my God.
Class.
Well, that is embarrassing. That is very, very embarrassing.
That is unfortunate.
That is unfortunate in the extreme.
That is true.
For all those listening, I'm quite embarrassed.
We've already dug a hole.
Faux pas.
We are only 3 minutes and 40 odd seconds into the semester, and already we are making grave mistakes. I'm just going to leave that equipment right there.
Yes.
Get it completely off camera. And let's turn our attention to the topic at hand, blogging. Now, that was a little bit of an aside, but actually I was going to say, if you're blogging, you may think about including videos in your blogs. That's a really good thing to bear in mind.
Are people going to be including videos in their blogs with this in this class? Because I have no idea what's. I know this is intro to blogging, but I do not know.
Why are you here? What purpose do you serve?
I'm running all the multiple. At some point, maybe in the semester, well, some people have seen the studio, but maybe at some point it'd be interesting to have a show, maybe a behind-the-scenes look.
Behind the scenes.
Well, this is actually, for discussion later within this intro, we were talking about earlier about the possibility.
Talking about,
earlier, yes. But it is quite, there's a lot of, literally there's 3 headphones I have and 2 mice and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 monitors and a bevy of microphones.
It is a sight to behold. I will give you that. And there's something else?
Well, and actually, it's kind of, well, and the Edgardo is here too.
Yes.
He's usually not here, but
That's
he's
true.
actually here in the studio.
Edgardo is here.
And maybe at some point he'll say something, but he's a very quiet individual. So he's trying to do.
Well, if at any point, Edgardo, you would like to chime in, by all means, just
Yes,
jump
because it's
right
all
in.
about programming. So maybe with the programming section.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh my God.
All right.
There you go.
We have a couple of assigned books this semester. By the way, the purpose here in this video, this is an introduction to the course and some of the personalities that will
Yes,
be,
an introduction to the course.
at
Other
play.
things will be occurring.
But we're going to give you 10 keys for better blogging in this opening session. These are ideas that we have mined from previous blogging sessions, some of the best insights from students who have come before you. And it has taken us a while to compile these, but we're going to give it to you right off the bat here, so you get a kind of tip sheet to hit the ground running.
Do you want me? Well,
One of our, now if we had a different camera, we could do that thing, cut to camera B.
Yes.
But we
well,
have
that's
this
something
book.
we're eventually. There are rumors, that we're hoping that there's a distinct possibility that we'll be getting some new computers,
All right.
and one possibly even a dedicated computer strictly for this, which means that we may be able to solve this issue of being only being able to use one camera
Because
for the
we have a
Blackmagic.
second camera. We are just not able to employ
Well, no, because
it or
Blackmagic,
deploy
the
it.
capture card, does not like multiple cameras for some strange
Whatever that
reason.
means. All right. So we have this book, Trust Me, I'm Lying, which is one of our assigned readings. We have a second one as well, which I don't have with me offhand. But that book is about how to blog for profit without selling your soul. These books work very well together because they cover very different terrain in terms of the world of blogging. This one is honestly speaking, fairly, some would say cynical, others would say realistic view of what it's like to be a blogger, particularly if you're trying to make a living at it in this modern media landscape that we live in. We were just having an interesting conversation this morning at our campus coffee shop with a gentleman
Yes,
there
The Grind.
talking about news consumption habits.
For those that are interested in some nice coffee, check out The Grind, the coffee shop on campus.
I think we have a little, yes.
A little plug there for them. And I was in no way endorsed by them, not sponsored by them.
Not sponsored, no.
It's like camera companies.
Well-
when they say I was not sponsored by Sony or Canon or Minolta.
And we'll be talking about sponsored blog posts as well.
Oh.
Because sponsorships are something that bloggers need to grapple with, particularly as we become successful and we build a following. You don't have to work very hard, actually. Well, you have to work hard to build your following, but once you have some readers, you don't have to work hard for advertisers to begin knocking on your door looking to see if they could sponsor some of your blog posts.
Well,
So,
you do need to have a certain, well, yeah, that's a different topic.
one that we will be delving into.
I did have an interesting discussion with someone at the Black Crow Coffee, another coffee shop.
Another coffee shop.
Yes, who actually does that. She runs a company that actually does that.
One of the things that I believe our class will be learning as we progress here is that you are what would you call it?
What?
I was going to say a purveyor
Purveyor?
of coffee shops.
Purveyor, closes. See, I don't have my pop filter. I need a pop filter.
Why is that?
Well, because it's one thing that we have not.
Oh, we've not invested in it.
No, no. Which actually, I probably should at some point because we have the compressors and all the other fancy doodads and this lovely AKG voiceover microphone.
And for people who
Buttery
are
smooth.
thinking about incorporating audio into their blogs, which is another option, or a lot of times blogging is not something that we just do on its own, right? We blog because we have a website that we want to promote and we want to galvanize with content. Or maybe we have a podcast and a complementary blog. So we're creating content for 2 or more different platforms and building a brand, getting our name out there. So if you're thinking about podcasting, audio recording, pop filters are good things to have.
Pop filter, yes.
The purpose there is when we have our
Yes.
plosives and those S sounds that can degrade the quality of a recording. A pop filter is a little device in front of the microphone.
Pop, yes.
Pop filter.
Pop filter, which
a
I need to.
That minimizes.
Do you have a
those
pop filter?
Plosive sounds. I do. I'll bring it in.
That would be
because
good.
it's
If you could bring in the pop
sitting at
filter.
home right
Yes, we don't want it to go to waste
now. It
because
should not
would
go
be
to waste. And
important.
now that I know we need one here,
Because-
for some reason I had always visualized one in front of you.
No,
You're
no,
right.
but that
You
would
have
be
not-
quite
not used
helpful
that.
because people need to
no, that's right.
are expecting a certain level of quality.
Let's do that fancy thing where we cut to the screen.
Cut to the screen.
It's real fancy though. Oh, there we go. So, this is what we want to talk with you a little bit about today as we delve deeper into this introductory lesson. And then we'll also come back to some of those opportunities that we alluded to earlier in terms of what's happening here in the studio this semester. To begin with, though, are 10 keys for better blogging.
Well, so this is only 6-week class.
It is a 6-week class. You are correct.
Now, some people may be concerned about that short time period.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned that. Why don't you,
Yeah.
let's go back to, because if there are concerns, I want to address these
Yeah, yeah.
head on. What now, concerned, how are we going to do this?
Well, yeah. It can be, so for some people it may can be a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
I remember when I took your web publishing class as a graduate student
Several summers ago.
several summers ago. Another sibilance issues,
Yes.
and I was utterly terrified.
It was a 6-week class.
Yes, all about HTML and CSS and JavaScript, and
It's a lot to fit in to a 6-week period. There's no doubt about it, and it will be an intense experience. But we have structured things in such a way that I think it's going to be manageable for you. Now, I hope that by now you have taken a close look at the syllabus. We're not going to recap it all in our
I have
session
not looked
here.
at the syllabus.
You have not looked at it. Well, as of the time of this particular recording, the syllabus is actually still manifesting.
It's manifesting. Oh, interesting.
It's being finalized. Due to the magic of recording technology, by the time that our esteemed students watch this video, they will have had access. Will have had access
So then
to the syllabus.
I would. I will be able to read the syllabus also.
You will as well, yes.
Okay.
By the time you perhaps are watching this video in the course, the syllabus will be right there, linked up along with the intro.
So, will it be super techie?
No.
No.
I would not say so at all. In fact, I would not characterize this as a technological or a technology course necessarily. Now, yes, we are going to talk about some tools and some platforms. We are going to talk about some production techniques even at different points, because blogging oftentimes is a multimedia endeavor. So we need to be thinking about things like design and the quality of our audio and video recordings. But first and foremost, this is a course about communicating effectively using a particular paradigm that is now well established, and that is the old familiar blog. So I would think of this primarily as a communication class.
So people do not need to be experts in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
By no means. We will dabble a little bit in some of those
Dabbling,
technologies,
yes.
but unlike the web publishing
Dabbling is
class,
And I'm going to review those things.
are you going to dust up on your
Dust up on my programming skills,
All right.
so that I can contribute to the class in a meaningful way.
Excellent. But fear not, because again, yes, we'll talk a little bit about programming, but really we want to talk about how to build an online presence that can help us to speak to an audience, whoever that audience may be. And we're going to be encouraging everyone throughout the class to think about their own audience. And everybody in this class, you're welcome to join in if you'd like. But every student in this class will be creating from scratch their own blog.
Oh.
And thinking through that process of conceptualizing the blog, defining their audience, thinking about the scope and the focus of their platform, and then through
Well, I have a
the
few
next
blogs
6
I
weeks-
can that I'm going to be probably planning to work on this summer.
You have some blogs you want to start? Is that
yeah,
is that what I
that
mean?
I'd like to work on this summer.
All right.
I'd like to spend some time doing that. Okay, but, well, yes. Although I have to say, I do think that it is helpful. I do think it is helpful for people to, at least I find it, that to understand the basics of the three main or technologies that power the web, so to speak. I think it's very helpful.
You're speaking of HTML
Yes.
and CSS
Yes.
and JavaScript.
Yes. I mean, it's helped me tremendously because it's, as opposed to, well, I'm just babbling now. Never mind.
Well, no, I think you're making a fair point. These technologies are important to at least be familiar with and to understand the definitions of. And so, since we have broached this topic, why don't we just spend a moment talking about what these things are and how and when and where you might encounter them in your adventures as a blogger.
Well, so that's what I remember. I was very terrified when I took the class, and then it just kind of clicked.
When did the terror subside, as you recall?
About a year later.
A year later? Wow.
Now,
At least it
now
wasn't lifelong.
I'm a perfectionist, and I'm very, very, hard on myself. So I was probably, I was being a little too hard on myself.
And remember, we're talking about different classes here.
Yes, different classes,
not,
completely
by my
different
definition,
classes.
a
Yes,
technical
and no
class
way to mean that it's
in the way
right.
that the
Exactly.
web publishing class
Do not mean
is.
to scare anybody or anything like that.
So, what is your definition of HTML? We know it stands for the
hypertext markup language. So that basically is the framework of the web page.
What does that mean? What is a
The
framework?
framework as in a series of tags, which will define the framework of the web page in terms of how it's not the formatting, but literally the content.
So the structure.
The structure, yes, structure. HTML defines the structure of the web page.
And perhaps
yes.
also the meaning of the content on the page.
Yes, the meaning. Yes, the semiotics. That's the what's that word?
Semantics.
Semantics.
So, as an example, if we have a blog post, the headline or the title of the post goes inside of one tag.
Yes, which would be an H1 tag.
The body of the post goes inside a different tag.
Yes.
And so we're using the tags to differentiate, separate, and label these different kinds of content.
Yes.
Now,
exactly.
do you mean to tell me that if I wanted to write a blog post, I need to be procuring the HTML as well?
If you want to write, well, you mean using a CMS? No.
Well, let's say I'm using WordPress, which is the tool that we're going to use in the class here.
Yes. Well,
The de facto
yes,
standard.
you can use yes, because there's the editor when you're
Yes.
writing a post. There's the editor. There's the visual editor or the HTML editor. Yes, so
two ways of
doing
composing content in WordPress. Now, we're going to use WordPress, and the nice thing about this tool is you actually don't have to get into this HTML business if you don't want to. But if you're curious, or if you really want to customize how things work on a page, it can be very helpful to switch over to what is called the text editor. And as soon as you do that, and you can do it from any WordPress page when you're editing, you can see the HTML behind the curtain.
And I think that generally people go back and forth between the two.
Often they do, yeah, because if you're working in the visual mode, it's fast, it's easy, it's quick. I suppose fast and quick would be the same thing, but it's fast and easy. If you switch over to the HTML mode, the text mode, you have a great degree of precision that you can work with, and you can very carefully define how things are set up. So it's great to have the option to go back and forth.
Right. Yes, exactly.
So we defined HTML. What about, I'm using this gaffer's tape as an impromptu
gaffer's tape.
stand for my clock here.
Gaffer's tape is important. Yes, should be in every studio. Gaffer's tape.
Gaffer's tape, a quick definition of that?
Gaffer's tape is a type of tape, not duct tape, but a type of tape that is used in every studio because it does not leave, it's strong and it doesn't leave that residue.
Yeah. Duct tape is designed for one-time use.
One-time use. Duct tape can be used over and over again.
Gaffer's tape.
Gaffer's tape.
You
Gaffer's
can,
tape.
Use it, take it off.
Gaffer's being the gaffer is the head lighting guy, the lighting department.
And yet it is useful for more than just lighting.
For everything. Yes, indeed.
So CSS, though, what is the definition?
So CSS is the formatting, how the page is formatted,
so
how it looks, the presentation,
design,
the design, which before CSS, you would format things within the HTML. But now you use CSS
way back in the day.
way back, right? And now you use CSS completely to format how the content looks.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So the HTML is defining the structure of the content and the meaning of the content.
Yes.
The CSS is defining the way it looks.
The way it looks.
The visual appeal.
And you can right. Yes.
And again, you can, but you don't have to work directly with the CSS in WordPress. WordPress uses CSS to design your page, and it gives you the option of directly editing the CSS. But if you prefer not to,
depending on the theme,
there are ways to bypass that. Depending on the theme, and we'll talk about
and the kind of level of customization that each theme has.
Yes, different themes, and themes in WordPress. We'll talk more about that, but it's an overall style or visual appearance that your blog may inherit from WordPress. And then we also talked about
JavaScript. Not to be confused with Java
or Java chips.
Java chips. What are Java chips?
I think it's just a snack.
That sounds quite good.
It does, yes. But JavaScript.
JavaScript is how one behaves with the website, the interaction, how you interact with the website.
Okay.
And it
sounds like a little bit like a Emily Post guide to etiquette.
Yes.
How do you conduct yourself around your website?
So every little thing that little cart when you buy something, that's JavaScript.
Little shopping cart.
Little shopping cart. Little scrolling things. Any little behavior or interactions.
And then the ensuing responses.
And the ensuing responses.
Page delivers. So yeah, JavaScript is what makes
and it's front end as opposed to back end.
True. And I don't want to get into too much of this.
I'm sorry.
You're going really fast on me here. This is an introduction to blogging.
Sorry, I'm just so excited about. That's one thing I plan to do this summer is to learn my programming.
But you are correct that everything we just talked about, we could bucket all of these technologies under the umbrella of front-end technology, which means that all you need to use these tools and develop with these tools is a web browser. That's it. If you have a web browser, you can write HTML, you can use CSS, you can even program JavaScript right from your web browser. That's all you need.
Yes.
So,
okay.
Let us return to our slides here. We have our first key. Now, see, we're vacillating. We were getting very geeky for a moment, but now we're going to get a little less
and I
geeky.
did not mean to scare anybody who may be listening, to scare anyone into thinking that, you have to be super techie. That was not my intent. So hopefully no one is freaking out. Some people may be.
Promise not to scare us anymore.
I will not. I will endeavor not to do that. I can't guarantee it, but hopefully not.
All right. But you will make an effort.
I will make an effort, yes.
All right. So our first key here, and again, these lessons learned have come from teaching this class several times now, including the previous fall. We had a great group of students producing some really cool blogs, and we were looking over their work and chatting with them, and we were doing these live sessions, and we came up with 10 things that we thought were really valuable lessons to reflect on anytime you're working on a blog post. So number one is this idea that the headline is perhaps, I'm actually underselling it here. Not only do headlines count, but headlines are perhaps the most important parts of a blog post. They are what is going to compel somebody to click on that post or tap on that post and read more about it.
Uh-huh.
You have stripped away your headphones.
Yes, because it was giving my ears a rest. Now, that is not good policy, so I do not recommend anyone, because I've always constantly said to always wear headphones. So here I am not wearing headphones. So, I should probably,
This is like...
I need to follow my own advice here.
This is like a high wire act without the safety net.
Because it's not exactly, so
Just asking for
probably
trouble.
put it on.
So do you agree with point number 1, that headlines
But my
count?
ears hurt. What?
Oh, you've gone...
Well, my ears are hurting. So.
So headlines count.
Yes. Because we live in a very attention deficit society. So you need to grab the headline, grab the attention quickly.
Yeah, the headline is the hook that is going to get somebody to...
It's like first impressions.
click. It's the first impression. I sometimes call headlines, this is true for blog posts, it's true for online news stories. Headlines are the ambassadors to our content.
So I'm going to go back to you because it's just, they probably have
why don't
seen
you come
that.
back to me, because that's...
Because that's kind of
very,
we don't need to
philosophical point.
look at a screen constantly.
And then what I can do is I'll queue up the next one, so we'll be real smooth when we go back to it. So headlines are kind of like ambassadors for our content, in the sense that they go off on the web. They show up in different venues, right? A headline could show up in an email. It could show up on a RSS feed. Some people still use RSS. Really simple syndication. It's a way of subscribing to blog content. Headlines show up on aggregator websites. I don't know if you ever go to popurls.com.
Pop URL?
Pop URLs.
Pop.
This
No,
is
I do not go to Pop URL.
a snapshot of what's popular on the internet, and it's a listing of articles and blog posts from some of the biggest publishers. But it's just headlines. So if you're going to click on something, you're clicking because of the headline.
So we have 2 people watching now.
2 people watching.
I wonder if someone else actually was watching.
Well, it's quite possible. Although I'm connected and you're connected, so...
Oh, okay.
Although we never quite figure out if we count or not in the mix.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Live streamers ourselves. So, yeah, headlines are really important. The other thing that's really important to think about with a headline is, if you can write a good headline, that is the proof that you have a sharp, well-defined focus for your blog. Here's my number 1 tip when it comes to headline writing. You've got to be specific and you've got to be explicit. Meaning, I should know what your blog is about based off of the headline. If we were writing headlines for a newspaper, that would not be the case, because all the content is right there. And a lot of newspaper-only headlines or print-only headlines don't really tell you what the content is about. So they maybe give you a vague idea, but you might think, oh, what's that, and keep reading. We don't have the luxury to be vague, though, online, because a lot of times our headlines are seen in isolation. They may show up on our homepage, for example, and it's just the headline. Most recent posts or most popular posts. And the question is, do I know enough about what this blog topic is to feel motivated to click or tap on that headline?
So these are 10 key points?
These are 10, and that was number 1.
Now, just looking at the time.
Yes, I'm trying to stay on top of that now. See,
20, we've been going for 28 minutes and 29
That's about what I have here. Let's move on to point number 2.
There you go.
Don't try to appeal to everyone. This is actually a good life lesson. In fact, all of these apply to our blogs. They apply to our lives.
So I'm switching. I think they probably have seen this slide.
Well, let's just linger for a moment, because this one is a little longer.
Let it linger. That's a song.
Yes, yes it is. Don't try to appeal to everyone. What do we mean by that?
Well, that's interesting. Okay, that's like, yeah, I suppose that does a life lesson, possibly.
It is a life lesson.
That people are not attracted to, if someone appears too needy, maybe.
Yeah, or
people don't really like that.
If it seems as though you're trying to please everyone.
Yes. People like the, right.
What we really mean, though, and maybe now you should switch back, because I'm about to make another one of those.
Okay.
deep points.
Deep
What we
points.
really mean is, in terms of your blogging,
Deep points.
you need to find your unique angle, your niche. And when we talk about a niche in blogging, we've got to think about that in a few different ways, right? So one thing is, what are you writing about? If your concept is you want to write a fashion blog or you want to write a sports blog, I think that that's a good start, but we need to get more refined and much, much more specific in what exactly you're going to be writing about. And then we also have to ask ourselves, how are you going to write it? What voice, what tone, what approach are you going to use to that topic? And finally, whom exactly are you hoping to appeal to? The web is awash with content. There are millions of blogs. In fact, there are hundreds of millions of blogs. Edgardo has left the room.
Edgardo has left the
We can only
room.
hope that we have not terribly offended him.
No.
But he did leave rather quickly. So,
I think he had a phone call.
well, the web is flooded with content.
People are going to be wondering who this Edgardo is.
Well, maybe one day he will come on camera
Maybe.
before our 6 weeks are up. So, people are probably already blogging about, podcasting about, YouTube channeling about the thing that you have in mind.
And they each have, exactly, they each have, the ones that are successful have their own niche.
They have their own niche, and they also already have their own followings.
Yes.
They've been working at it a while. Most of us, we're getting started. So we don't have the benefit of an established audience. So the remedy for that, the solution, the way forward is to define our own niche, knowing that there are millions, there are billions of people connected to the internet, potentially awaiting
Billions.
our content.
Wow.
I believe there are at least 2 billion people with reliable internet connectivity right now.
That's a lot of people.
It is a lot of people. And we don't need to bring in 2 billion viewers to be successful. In fact,
No.
when we get started, if we could find a couple of hundred regular
Yep.
viewers, subscribers, readers, we're in great shape.
Yeah.
And then we can build that from there.
So yes, definitely a niche.
Now, point number 3.
Okay.
As you can see, we are we're very concise. We value concision here. And that's something that we'll certainly
Well,
be focused on in
most
terms
of the
our
time.
writing. Most of the time. Well, that's true. We value concision and we also go on tangents.
There is a tendency sometimes to go on tangents.
We have
yes.
to rope ourselves
Yes.
back in every now and then. Our third point is to look for what's new. To look for what's new. Do you remember offhand any of the topics from the fall?
So
The last time we endeavored to
so I'm
teach
gonna
these?
switch back.
Switch back, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
What?
Do you recall any of the blog topics from the
Blog topics.
from the fall?
Last time, there's one about. Oh, didn't one? Was it? Did Paula did something on her experiences coming from South America?
Yes, we had a blog about the experiences of student immigrants.
Yes,
Recent
yes.
student immigrants to the U.S. We had a couple of different food blogs.
Wasn't there in a fashion?
There was a fashion
Didn't
blog
Joe
or
do
two.
a fashion one?
Who was that?
Joe.
Yes. Yep. We had a sort of a male college student-oriented fashion blog.
Who actually had his own fashion blog for a while.
He had one for a while. Important point, actually. If you already have a blog and you would prefer to continue to develop it in this course rather than start one from scratch, arrangements can be made, but please check with me so we can iron out the details on that. We had a couple of food-oriented blogs.
Yeah.
vegan,
Food blogs are always
blogs,
really popular for some
health-related
reason.
blogs.
Yes, a health blog. Yes, yeah.
Several
yeah.
blogs on,
Wasn't there a
mental
vegan?
health and
Mental health?
depression. And,
Wasn't there a blog on veganism or something like
There
that?
was a blog on veganism. Yes.
Yes.
The point being, well, a couple of points. One, we're defining niches a little bit, or niches. I don't know. I always said niches, and then I heard people say niches, so
I think it's like bokeh. I don't know.
probably so. Tomato, tomato.
Tomato, tomato.
So part of it is getting down to the focus, right?
Potato,
so it's not just a
potato.
food blog. It's not
Yeah.
just a blog about vegan diets. It's about
Yes.
a blog for college students about living as a vegan on a budget. So now we're getting pretty specific. And if you layer on top of that a certain tone or voice, you've really got maybe a unique idea. But here's the other thing to think about. With all these topics, you could be writing about these things for months and years. And there's a lot of existing knowledge that you can tap into. But what we want to do when we're blogging is keep things fresh, keep them interesting, and focus on the new developments in whatever area we're writing about. Are there new trends? Are there new discoveries, new products, new concerns, new challenges? What's new? Always think about that when you're blogging, because that is going to be the key to long-term success. That is going to give you an engine that runs for a long time. Otherwise, you will run out of things to talk about and you will lose touch with your audience.
Yeah, that could be a... Yes.
I hear a car alarm.
There is a car alarm
And
going
earlier
off.
today, I saw somebody trying to get into their car
Yes, with a hammer.
with a hammer,
Literally with a hammer.
presumably their car.
I hope so. No. Hopefully that was over there, and that sounded like it was over there.
Over there,
So
okay. I wasn't
it
sure if
sounds
it's
like
emanating
it
from
may
the
be
same
a different
direction.
one, possibly.
Anyway, let's go back to our slides. Our next point here is to adhere to a strict structure. Now, when we say structure, we're talking about the way that we formulate our blog posts. And we're not saying that every post has to follow exactly the same structure, but we are saying that there are some conventions that we should avail ourselves of that will bring structure to our posts. And the more structure that we have, the more successful in general our posts will be.
So I'm going to go back to the...
Bring it on back home,
All
back
right.
down to the studio.
Okay.
So how do we do this, and what are some examples of structure? A basic one that I think is really important is to not just have a headline at the top of your blog, but to have subheadings as your blog post progresses. And underneath each subheading, you have a well-defined section of content.
So that's like formatting.
It's kind of like formatting.
Kind of like
yeah.
formatting.
It's bringing in a little bit of structure, and behind the scenes, we now know there's
like-
HTML
yeah.
that is powering this.
So having consistent design.
Very important.
Yes.
And one of the advantages of using a platform like WordPress, because it will impose upon us consistency. And unless we go out of our ways to break that consistency, we're going to get it. However, we do have to go out of our way to bring structure into play. Otherwise, we end up with just one long post. And that makes it difficult to scan. It makes it difficult to quickly move through a post and figure out a nice point of entry as a reader. Think about all the ways the content you read on the web is structured. Not only do you have subheadings, but you have lists, both bulleted and numeric lists or numbered lists.
Ordered and
used.
unordered.
I'm sorry?
Unordered and ordered.
Unordered and ordered lists, that's right. A little HTML inside knowledge there for you. What else? Links could be thought of as a form of structure, and they also are a way of guiding people's eyes as they work through our content. These things create visual cues for entering into a post, and they also help us to think about how we're organizing our thoughts, and that is very important. Here's another consideration. Now, this won't apply to everyone, but depending on what you're blogging about,
It is up.
you may find yourself discussing with a vast, anonymous, unknown audience some rather personal topics. And we don't want to outright discourage that. In fact, I would say some of the most successful blogs that we've seen in previous iterations of this class have dealt with some personal, sometimes very challenging
Yeah.
topics.
Yeah.
But we do want to advise care in how these topics are approached and how much and exactly what kind of information is built into your posts. It's important to remember that blogging is a kind of performance in the sense that this is a public stage. It's as public as it gets. And we are putting information out there about ourselves that we can never really take back, because as we know, if it goes online, that is a permanent record.
And I think that I think most people are probably fairly aware of that, I would think, nowadays, especially with all the scandals and things like that.
There have been some scandals. There have been some data breaches and such that have brought this to the forefront. But it's easy to get complacent. You know, we are always engaged with technology.
And the web can be, blogging, people can be pretty brutal because it's a certain level of anonymity. However you say that word.
Yep.
And so people have a tendency to say things that they may not say in person.
And it's not exactly a level playing field, because a lot of times as content creators, we are putting our names outside along with our content. We are putting our identities out there. And then anonymous Twitter users and commenters and random people are reacting to what we're doing. So they have the advantage of anonymity, whereas we probably don't.
Yeah, yeah. So we should probably be careful even what we say.
Probably so. Now you tell me. Gee whiz. I'm skipping the point that we were just about to get to because, I'll go back to it. Headlines are so important.
There. All right. So,
there we go. Yes.
So, but didn't we just talk about this?
Well, we did, but they're so important. It actually shows up twice in the list. And we want you to not only think about your headlines, but labor over your headlines.
Yes.
Spend a lot of time on those because they are so important.
Well, yeah, it's like first impressions. Yeah. Oh.
And then look at that. We just moved on to our next point.
Oh, wow.
This is how we finally end more or less on time. We just
more or less. Well, we got to talk about. We got to
talk about a few other things. Let's do a quick time check here. All right.
We are 41 minutes. We're
going to wrap
talking
this
for
up
41
in
minutes.
about 45 minutes total. And so we're going to.
Oh my.
We're going to get a moving. So we talked earlier about the importance of focusing on new things happening. A parallel concept there is to be tracking some of the things that are unfolding.
Edgardo's come back.
Edgardo has re-entered
the building.
And we couldn't be happier about it. Welcome back, kind sir.
Yes.
All right, so we're keeping tabs on what's happening. We are using Twitter for sure to monitor what people are talking about, and other social platforms as well. Twitter is probably the best just in terms of that fire hose of information.
Of keeping up to date on current events.
Current events, yeah. Trends, what are people talking about? What are they concerned with in your area? Once you have defined what your niche is, there will be people talking about those topics, people blogging about it. Subscribe to relevant podcasts, read other people's blogs, pay attention to what they're talking about. Tune in to what the conversation already is. Here's an interesting one. Write well. This is really important. Blogging is possibly a multimedia endeavor, probably should be a multimedia endeavor, but you can't blog without the written word. And your ability to write well will enable your success as a blogger. And so we are going to focus a lot in this course about writing well.
Well, that's good that you taught AP style last 2 semesters ago.
Back in the fall, news editing, we did in fact focus on AP style.
In fact, I think there's some people in this class that were in that class.
And then welcome to you.
So
welcome back.
So why don't we go back? Okay. There you go.
Welcome back. Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, writing well is important. AP style is actually what we also
maybe
follow.
Even at some point the buzzer will come back.
We have buzzers, yes. Buzzers. We have a variety of good things that we can bring into play here.
Well, yeah. Because I think earlier we were saying we don't want to freak out people too much in the beginning.
Yeah, that's true.
To prepare people preparation.
Yes. I believe, if nothing else, this session will be good preparation.
Good preparation for future things that may or may not happen. Another one.
We have a new point. Let's see what the point is. Okay. Anchor your blog with marquee posts. What does this mean? Well,
a marquee Is that, what is a marquee post?
A marquee post is a
Sounds French.
Yes, a marquee post.
Marquee.
Is that Italian? I don't know.
I don't know.
So a marquee post is a really good post. It is a well-researched post. It's a post with original reporting, perhaps. It's a post with some great multimedia content. It is a post that you spend a lot of time developing. And what we mean when we say anchoring your blog with these posts is everything you write on your blog does not, should not be at an amazing level. Because what's more important than constantly being amazing is constantly publishing. And it's a tremendous amount of pressure if everything we put out there we feel like has to be top shelf, better than the best. So the best approach, and the one that many professional bloggers have recommended over the years in this class and elsewhere.
So you're saying quantity over quality?
I'm saying a balance of the two.
Balance of the two.
So we want to be consistent in our publishing. That's very important. And every once in a while, we want to come out with a post on a really interesting topic that just goes above and beyond. We don't need to do it every single time. Basic quality should always be there, of course. We always want to write well. We always want to have well-structured posts. But the ones that are really deeply researched, that maybe have a lot of original multimedia content, we don't need to do that every time.
Oh, yeah. Plus, there's only so many hours in the day.
Only so many hours in a day, despite my constant denial of that fact. We have another point here.
Oh my. Okay. Wait, hold on.
Do not be afraid. In fact, embrace the idea of bringing in others' content. And what is that content exactly? Well, it could be quotes from other blogs, other news sources, clearly attributed quotes, very important, with links back to the original content, also very important. It could be...
okay, coming back to you.
Oh, hello. It could be other people's links to other people's research, or links to other websites that are doing things. You could be responding to somebody else's blog post, and so you bring in some excerpts from their post, again, being sure to attribute. Maybe you're embedding content from another source. You're embedding somebody else's video from YouTube or from Vimeo.
Which happens all the time. And then bringing guests from other blogs, other bloggers, popular bloggers.
Having somebody come in and writing a guest post, sure. That's another way to do it, or bringing in somebody and interviewing them. So do not think of this as an isolated endeavor. Blogging is a communal, interactive, and immersive experience. So part of that is bringing other people's content.
Because then everybody helps everybody else. And ultimately, it helps you with your own, because you get more traffic and more hits and things like that.
Exactly. That is precisely correct. And finally, those are actually our 10 points. But finally, I want to leave you with a question, and that is, what else? I really want you to think about, as the course progresses, the other things that go into a successful blog. Every week, we're going to be bringing you live video lessons. We have decided that those lessons will happen on Wednesdays.
Wednesday. And now, okay, so now these lessons will be the possibility they'll be live too, if one would like to see them.
Yes.
And
they will be live every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m.
And people will be able to chat.
That is correct.
And I will be able to interact with the chatters. And as people chat, I will see them. So if anyone has any questions and things like that, it's like an interactive way. So I will be able to see someone saying something, like as a question. Then I can be like, oh, this person here, and I don't want to... how many people are in the class, actually, out of curiosity?
I believe we have about 60 students.
60?
60
wow.
students, yes.
Wow.
It's a big class.
Yeah.
So 55 maybe.
So they will be able to interact.
And it's encouraged, I believe.
It's encouraged, yes.
And you will find a way to bring them into the live stream.
Yes,
as well.
yes, because, into the live stream, yeah. You mean on screen?
Well, you'll mention, oh, so-and-so has a question
Yes,
or a
yes,
comment.
yes, because I will be able to see and
You'll
interact
be
with the
liaison
chatters
between the chat room and our
yeah,
experience.
yeah.
With the
Well,
journal.
yeah, and unless the PA, unless we're hoping to get, there's a possibility that the PA possibly coming.
And that is the other thing we want to mention as a parting thought here. We invite you to tune in live. Or if you want to come to the studio and be a part of the live experience in person, you can also do that. And we have a couple of venues. There are PA or production assistant.
PA, production assistant.
Roles that I believe
So if
you
one,
are recruiting for.
Yeah. Or
and in addition to that,
learning the ins and outs of the cameras and the audio, and actually, if so being, running the chat.
Okay, so there are different roles.
Yeah.
If you would like to appear on camera, if you have been blogging for a while, and we always have a few students who have been blogging and have had a lot of success with their blogs. We really value your perspectives and your experiences. We would be happy to have you in. We have a second chair. We actually have 3 chairs. So we've never tried this, but don't we have 3 chairs? Yes.
Well, we do, but
we have, yes, 3
chairs.
I think we could pull it off. It would be tight, but I think we could pull it off.
It would be tight, but yeah, I suppose it could be, anything can be done.
But we can certainly accommodate a second chair. If there's one person who would like to come in and talk.
Now, and I may or may not appear on camera.
That's a TBD, to be determined?
To be determined. Kind of
remains to be seen.
The voice for now.
All right.
And we will have some other guests will be periodically coming in, I think.
This is also true. So I think that's it. Well, we didn't quite wrap up in 45 minutes, but we did keep it under an hour.
Under an hour.
So there's that.
That's good.
We're going to sign off for now, and again, welcome to the course. This is clearly our live sessions are a little informal, and we hope that makes them a little more interesting than the back in the day we used to read off of a teleprompter.
A teleprompter? No, there was never a teleprompter.
Well, once or twice.
There was? What?
There was, yeah. Yes.
Well.
Back in the dark ages. But we've moved beyond that, and now we have a little more of a free flow of ideas.
Yes.
And that flow will only intensify next week when we have, or actually later this week. I'm getting confused about the magic of pre-recorded content. But with the chat
so this was a little bit of preparation. This is just a preparation.
One could say, yes.
So one needs, some other things will be occurring.
A dress rehearsal before the
expectations are high. Expectations are high.
So we're going to see you guys on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Now, if you can't make it live, if you have prior commitments, don't worry. The recordings will be available immediately after the airing, the live airing. And you are welcome to watch on replay as well, certainly at no penalty.
Yes, but if you would like to chat and things like that, then you have to be doing the live thing.
Yes.
Yes. So should I go to the little... now, there will be a different intro and outro next time.
Well, because it will be our show. We have a show.
Yes.
Perfect Bloggers.
Yes.
And that's what's happening live Wednesdays.
Right.
Our 6-episode season here.
This is just the intro. Okay.
So we have a different outro now?
No. It's still the same outro. But next week there'll be a different intro and outro.
Okay.
So should I cut to that?
We'll cut to that. Great to meet you all, and we look forward to working with you throughout the next 6 weeks.